Hello, everyone, and good morning. I would like to wish you a big warm welcome and thank you for your interest and for joining this mini webinar organized by the European Rewilding Network and Rewilding Europe. For those of you joining in for the first time, allow me to tell you a few words about the European Rewilding Network or the ERN. It is a community of 74, exactly 74 at the moment, rewilding initiatives coming from 28 European countries. It operates as a platform for the exchange of knowledge, ideas, best practices, and it also provides a place for constructive dialogue about practical rewilding. All of this is with the objective that together we drive the European rewilding movement forward. While most of the European Rewilding Network events are for our members only, this Rewilding Intro mini-series actually allows and gives the opportunity both for the public and for fellow ERN initiatives to hear about the success stories, activities, and achievements of other ERN initiatives. Today, you will hear the story about a successful purpose-driven activism campaign that managed to stop the plans of damming one of Europe's last wild rivers, the Vjosa River in Albania. So I'm really thrilled to welcome EcoAlbania and the people behind this David and Goliath narrative. So a big welcome goes to Olsinika, the director of EcoAlbania, and Besiana Guri, their very talented communication specialist. So EcoAlbania managed to create a united front, bringing together many people from various backgrounds, and except for stopping the plans for damming the Vjosa River, they also generated a vast support for creating the Vjosa National Park. Without further ado, just to shortly introduce myself. My name is May. I am the coordinator of the European Rewilding Network, and today we have my colleague Julia Mata, the European Rewilding Network Associate. We will be in the role of your hosts. Just a quick word about the Zoom webinar environment. Your microphones and cameras are turned off. If you will be having any questions, we will have a Q&A session after the presentation. However, do feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box while the presentations are ongoing. This webinar is being recorded and it will be available on Rewilding Europe's YouTube account probably early next week, mostly probably on Monday. So if you want to share the link with your colleagues, this is going to be possible. I would now like to give the word to Olsi.
So I'm unmuted here, okay? Thanks, Nate. Thanks for the introduction. Good morning, everyone that has joined. You have joined in this webinar today. Let me first share my screen. I think it works.
I wasn't able to shut up.
Is it working? All right.
Yes, we can see it well.
Well, okay. So Besiana and me today will talk about the campaign for the preservation of the Europe's big last free-flowing river, actually. So we are going to talk about the campaign for the preservation of Vjosa River, which is shared between Albania and Greece. So first of all, I will start with the threats. So in the Balkan Peninsula, there is a dam tsunami that is happening now. So we are talking actually about more than 3,000 dam projects that are planned or are under construction currently that are threatening this part of Europe which hosts the I would say the most natural river stretches of the entire continent. And when it comes to Albania, Albania is probably the worst country in this regard, because there are plans of 700 and something more, dams in a small country like Albania. And there are two things that I want to emphasize here is that 90% of all these dams are the so-called small-scale hydropower plants, which in terms of the energy benefits, they are bringing almost nothing into the grid, but at the same time, they are having a huge ecological footprint on the negative impact on the environment, and 30% of these hydropower are being planned within the boundaries of the nature protected areas. So Vjosa is one of these cases. What I will make a little journey about along the Vjosa to the ones that haven't been there. This is how Vjosa looks into its upper part. So it's more or less like all the alpine rivers in Europe, or let's say the upper part, which is pretty much intact at the same time, but it's also, it looks very similar also to other rivers in Europe. While the midsection is the uniqueness of the river. Actually, it's a midsection because it's not interrupted, it's not any human intervention. So just to give you the idea, from one riverside to the other, it's like 3 kilometers wide. So it's a real mosaic of habitats that provides them. I will show you a little bit later also the circumstances to host high levels of biodiversity. So for the Vjosa, before we started the campaign, unfortunately, we knew very little in terms of biodiversity, but we've managed to gain the attention and the attraction of the wide circle of scientists worldwide, I would say. And they have studied, they have conducted study along the Vjosa, and they have identified and registered like more than 1,000 species. Which is a big number for a riverine ecosystem. And there have been also endemic species or species recorded for the first time in the Albanian flora and fauna. However, there have been, what is important to be emphasized is that there have been even species new to science, like this little one here, which is also named the Vjosa. It's the Isoperla vjosa. It's a kind of first identified stonefly. A part of that, there is also another spider, and there are still discussions for this little fish, whether it is a new species to science or it's the one that we already know. But nevertheless, it's an endemic because it has been discovered in other rivers in Greece. Talking about the dams, this is the Vjosa watershed with the dam plans. So let's say the big trend that it is marked in green is the Vjosa River main concert. These are the tributaries. When I showed you the uniqueness of the river, the midsection, actually there is also another attribute that makes Vjosa unique, which is the connectivity of the tributaries. So not only the river itself, but also the tributaries are in the good hydromorphological state, which means that they are not dammed or intact. However, the threat is there. Some of the little tributaries like the Charshova and Nangarica, for instance, are already dammed, but we are talking about 45 hydropower in all Vjosa basin or watershed. 8 of them are the large dams along the Vjosa and 37 on its tributaries. What we have done after having this information and creating this dataset, we first of all shared this information with the people that might be impacted negatively on these dam plans. And these are for sure the local communities. So we have had a long tour with almost every village or little town along the Vjosa and informing them about the dam plans and about the consequences that they will bring. Then is organizing together with them protests against the decisions for building those dams. So, for instance, we are here in kind of protest, big protest that we had in front of the Prime Minister's building in Tirana. Lobbying, it is another tool that we have used within the frame of the campaign. Like here we are in a special session of the European Parliament talking about Vjosa and the dams and the threats that dams will bring on damaging these natural heritage. Involving celebrities is another technique that we have used. Like the picture that you are watching now is actually taken from a big concert that we have had in the main square of Tirana, with a main message behind which says, "Don't touch the Vjosa." And it gathered roughly 3,000 people in the square just for raising awareness. And when we are talking about the celebrities, we have managed also to get the attention of international, worldwide, let's say, known celebrities, like this guy here who has been supporting a lot the Vjosa, but it's not only DiCaprio, it's also other actors like Edward Norton or other famous singers like Dua Lipa, Rita Ora, that have reposted his post, or Ellie Goulding or whatever. So there are many, Vjosa is now, just to let you know that in terms of celebrities, Vjosa is known, and it is being backed up by a wide number, I would say, of important reputational people. Involving science has been one of our strategies in the campaign. And having said this, here we are, for instance, in an unusual press conference where the scientists are presenting the preliminary findings of their 1-week research on the Vjosa. And why I'm saying this, that this is a unique press conference, is that neither the place nor the people are very common to see such kind of picture, because we are having the conference in the middle of nowhere, practically, because it's at some small island in the midsection of the Vjosa. And for instance, you can never see this guy here holding a megaphone. He is an honorary professor of the University of Vienna, and speaking, talking about the findings of the Vjosa. So this is something unusual, because we have made, or Vjosa, the scientific importance of the Vjosa has made the scientists to speak up loud, not only to feel that they have accomplished their job by publishing the scientific papers, but they have even requested to the Albanian decision makers to give time to them to research on the Vjosa in order to find what's there, and then if there is feasible or not, they can continue also with their own plans on building dams. So the scientists have made this very clear, so they are decisive on this. That's why they have even initiated the opening of a research center, which will deal with the freshwater ecosystem research. This is based in the midsection in the town in Tepelena of the Vjosa, and we are here in inauguration day with a high, let's say, level of decision makers like the mayor and the president of the republic, which have been part of the inauguration. And this is also part of our political lobby. And actually, this has created also a wave of contradiction or confrontation between the prime minister and the president, because they do belong to different parties. So what we have done is basically taking the best out of it, out of this confrontation. So this has made the prime minister to make a statement clearly against the dam construction and in favor of establishing the national park. So we took this advantage, and we delivered this February, even officially, our proposal of how Vjosa can be a national park, which indeed would mean the Europe's first wild river national park. Up to now, we don't have any feedback from the ministry, but we are working on it, and we are trying to increase the pressure. So what we are doing towards this, I will leave the floor to my colleague Bessie to give you an insight of what we are currently doing.
Thank you, Olsi. Hi, everybody. I will continue the presentation on our campaign to save the Vjosa River. Olsi has mentioned a lot of actions and a lot of activities that we have been conducting since 2013. It has been a long way, and it wasn't always easy. Let's say in the beginning, it was very, very hard to convince people about the importance of preserving Vjosa River. We started with the local communities, as Olsi mentioned, which they didn't have any information, they didn't have a clue. With the government, they had other plans, they didn't really see the value of the Vjosa, or they weren't aware maybe of how rich the biodiversity is there. And we try to engage as many people as possible in order to have a bigger wave, let's say, and a wider support. Definitely with the support of our international organizations, Riverwatch and Aeronatur, and with the support of Patagonia, we have managed to make the Vjosa an international issue, and to reach many people, and of course to have a greater support. Our main achievements, I would like to conclude, are that we first, sorry, I have to share my screen. Just 1 second. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, and also the presentation. Okay. So the main achievements that we have managed so far are to stop 2 big hydropowers that were planned in the Vjosa River, the Pocem and Kalivac, one through the court case and the other one through, let's say, the pressure. So the government decided to cancel itself. We have managed to open a case file in the Berne Convention against the hydropowers in the Vjosa, case file also to the energy community, which are 2 international tools that definitely help us in our fight. But in the meantime, the government seems to be positive, let's say, about preserving the river, protecting the Vjosa River, but it's planning to give lower protection, let's say. They are planning to declare a nature park, which is a 4th category, according to IUCN and according to Albanian law. That definitely it's not the one that the Vjosa would deserve, and is that level of protection that would leave the door open to the developments such as hydropower, drilling for oil, or other investments. The final goal, and where we are at the moment, is to push forward the government to declare a Vjosa National Park. In order to rise the pressure more to the government, we have started this year an awareness raising campaign, Vjosa National Park Now. And we started this campaign in March this year with an action which was really interesting action. We had Vjosa National Park Now big slogans in 4 cities, in Tirana, in Paris, in Berlin, and in Brussels. But for this, I have a short video. Maybe Julia can help me, that I would like to show to you.
Yes.
I will stop sharing.
It's okay.
Thank you. So I will continue my presentation very briefly. Okay, so after that action that you saw in the video, the Vjosa National Park now actions across Europe has been a big success. A lot of activists have supported us, and we managed to have these slogans that you see in the photos in 15 European cities and even in US. The latest actions were in San Francisco and in the Grand Canyon, which are really spectacular views and with a strong message, with the same message to ask the Albanian government to declare a Vjosa National Park now. Our next steps, let's say what we are planning to do in the next month is that we still will continue to pressure the government, and still we will continue to promote the Wild River National Park in Albania, and we are about to start an awareness campaign, and with a call to action with an online petition, which I would invite everybody to follow us and to help us when we launch the petition in 10 days or around that, in order to have a bigger number, of course, of supporters and to use in the best way possible our petition. And a small action that everybody can do is post in their social medias with the hashtag Vjosa National Park now. They can just write down a paper or do a picture or whatever in order to show their support for our campaign, and use the frame Vjosa National Park now on their Facebook pages. Thank you.
Thank you, Vjosa. We will now play a video that the EcoAlbania produced in cooperation with Patagonia, called Vjosa Forever. Julia, please.
Every little creek is threatened by hydropower plants.
For the Vjosa, we are aiming to protect it and to declare it a national park, which would be the first wild river national park in Europe.
Nuk duam të na prishet Vjosa. Nuk duam hidrocentralin, nuk duam të na prishen tokat.
The Vjosa in Albania is the last wild river in the world, and there really is nothing left. The river and its tributaries flow freely from the mountains in Greece to the Adriatic coast in Albania without any artificial obstacles. Though for years, the entire river system has been under attack by dam projects, which, if constructed, would destroy this natural environment, flooding some parts of the valley while leaving others dry. But local activists and groups from around the world have stood up and have continued to fight against the dam projects. Through both protest and legal action, we have successfully halted 2 major dam projects, but the Vjosa is not safe yet. It still takes just 1 dam to lose the entire river.
This tells us that we have to do something. And for the Vjosa, we are aiming to protect it and to declare it a national park, which would be the first wild river national park in Europe.
Qeveria është duke punuar për t'i dhënë formë një projekti madh kombëtar që është transformimi I gjithë luginës Vjosës në një park kombëtar.
Albanian political leaders have announced the intent to stop the dam projects and to establish a national park instead. But until now, these promises are empty words. Some politicians still want to keep the door open for the dam projects after the election, which puts the Vjosa in real danger. And that is why we must speak up for the Vjosa National Park now.
And what is exceptional here is that you have this unspoiled wilderness area. You have that whole range of ecosystems, multiple different habitat types. all the way from the source to the sea. This is clearly a unique and exceptional area in Europe and should be recognized as such.
It's an enormous mosaic of different and small habitats.
There are people that have been living in the Vjosa Valley for thousands of years. It's an emotional relation between people. People have named their baby girls by Vjosa. They sing about it.
Wherever the river wants to go, it goes. There is nothing comparable in Europe like this.
In this particular case, we're looking to protect not just the upland areas, but also the whole river ecosystem, the watershed, the tributaries, and especially the floodplain. In some cases, those gravel beds are going 2 kilometers across. I mean, these are spectacular places.
Lumenti janë korridor për emigrimin e llojeve. Kështu që duke ndërprer lumin me një dikë, ky korridor nuk është më. Me habitate, me lloje, me gjitha këto vlera humbasin.
According to an opinion poll that was conducted in December, 94% of the Albanian people are in favor of a national park. So this is the will of a majority of people that also should be heard. I've been working 6 years in this fight, in this campaign, and we never give up.
This is a rare opportunity to really protect one of the last wild big rivers. This would be an asset for Europe, but also a contribution to global conservation efforts.
Imagine such a national park on such a dimension, a whole river system. We must use the coming election to make substantial steps towards Europe's first wild river national park.
Kështu që kjo është ajo që ne kërkojmë me forcë, të paktën nga gjithë kjo që ne po e shfrytëzojmë natyrën, pra të kursejmë një lum.
And this is your opportunity to enter in history, that you have protected this wild river, you have protected this last pristine river, and you have turned it into the queen of Europe. Thank you, Julia, for playing. Wow, this was an amazing video. Vjosa is so beautiful. Before we start with the Q&A, I have one question. So what happened after April 25th? What is the situation now?
Because that video was before the elections. We were trying to use election as much as possible. But we have the same government and really nothing new happened. So that's why we are continuing to push forward for the national park.
I just have to inform everyone that Olsi had to go because he's hosting another webinar, sharing information about their phenomenal work. Please do post your questions now in the Q&A because I would like to open the Q&A session. We already have one question from Tamas Erde, who says, your results are very promising. Congratulations. How was the reception of your conservation efforts by the local communities? Did you have significant opposition, resistance, and how did you deal with it?
Thank you for your question. As I mentioned, the local community was really not very informed on the values and what this river could really offer. I think that they are all supportive. they really see the value. They appreciate that they have this unique ecosystem living by. So we didn't have any opponents. On the contrary, we had a lot of support from local community. We are very present in the local communities, and they have been part of the campaign all the time. So they have organized protests. They have been in the court with us. They also signed petitions and letters and a lot of other actions.
Okay, thank you. While we leave the Q&A open for other questions, something that I'm curious about: what was the turning point of your campaign?
There have been many turning points, because we had some crucial moments that we thought that we are gonna win, let's say, and then we had a new hydropower being concessioned. Then we had to change all our strategy to fight the dams and so on. But I think that this year has been a real moment that we have the chance to really protect Vjosa, because we have two hydropowers that were the biggest threat. They are cancelled. Now the government is willing to protect it. There was a long discussion about protecting it from middle section and upstream, but we managed to also change their mind to have the whole length of the river protected. But now we are fighting, or let's say we are aiming to include also the tributaries to the protection, and of course to increase the protection level. So we are in a good moment, let's say.
Yeah, there's another question. And what type of help do you need?
All kind of help is more than appreciated. We, of course, we would really appreciate the awareness raising actions that everybody can take. But if somebody is interested to come to the river, if they have interest in scientific point of view, let's say, to have studies and to help us with more scientific arguments, this would be also very much appreciated, because we are trying to reach the courts, but we want to be very armed, you know, with all the tools. And definitely everybody should come and see the Vjosa and promote it as much as possible.
And yeah, and also share about the hashtags on your social media, and use this a frame on the Facebook page. And once you have this forms ready, I will be sending it to the all the year members. We will publicly communicate about. I have one more question, and it's about the development. So Vjosa is now internationally recognized, and people know about it. How is the development of nature-based economy and nature-based tourism going on in the area?
Well, it's on its start. It's, let's say, very few actions have been taken, because also the people, you know, they are not very secure if the river is going to be protected or it's going to be dammed. So people are not really sure what they should do. But anyway, in the upper part, so the people were more safe, let's say, because there was no real plans to build dams in the upper part. In Permet area, there are some good, so there is good tourism developed there, nature tourism, and I think that during these last 6 years, 7 years, it has changed a lot. There have been new businesses like the rafting. That was not real activity in the Vjosa, so there have been trekking activities and new guest houses. Everything in line, let's say, with the national park. So if we have a national park, this would be the way how we would want the Vjosa to be developed. So in ecotourism, not like in the massive tourism, because this would be just destroying the river itself.
One of the principles of rewilding is actually allowing nature to take care of itself and have its own course. Is this the philosophy that you're using in your work around Vjosa?
Yeah, definitely. We have the Vjosa's uniqueness is that it is wild river. It goes wherever it wants. And the dynamics is really changing, year by year. And this is what we and all the groups that are supporting the campaign appreciate. And we really think that this is what Albania has, let's say, something special to offer also to Europe, because you cannot find this kind of river. This is the crucial part. So even if we support any development, we would fanatically protect the wild river, and of course develop some small actions that would come along the river.
And the last question from my side, and this is going to be final one from this session. If there are no questions in our Q&A feed. While the rest of Europe is removing dams, the situation in Balkans is somehow different, and this is why the Save the Blue Heart of Europe, which is the Balkan area, was established. Can you say a few words about that, and why is this contrast happening?
Yeah, in fact, miraculously, Balkan rivers are still safe, most of them, and they have survived from these dam constructions that were made in Europe, in Central Europe. And but I think that the governments have other agendas. So on their agenda, there is no river protection or nature protection at all. So they only see the numbers, the money, and they see only the business that is after that. So this was what corruption and everything involved in there. Of course, we are in time to stop this. We are in time because we also have seen the damage that has been done in other rivers in Europe and even in US. Now they are also demolishing, putting down the dams, so we can, let's say, we can learn from their experience. But this is a political will in the end. In Albania, for example, it's not really an energy issue, because if it was an energy issue, we would definitely use other alternatives like the sun, like the solar energy, or like the wind. We are not using them. We only depend on hydropower, 100%. So this is definitely a political issue, and the governments in the Balkans, they should change their strategies and change their directions.
In the meeting, we got a few more questions. Is there a plan to develop the national park? If not, do you believe one needs to be developed?
Is there a plan for the Vjosa National Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely. We have worked for that, and it's not that we only said words. So we have papers that are scientifically supported from IUCN and also from a group of scientists. We have also proposed it to the ministry. It's a real plan, but the government, it's ignoring it practically. So they are making their own plans with the nature park. But that's something that we are not really very satisfied. But definitely there is the plan in our hands and in their hands. So it's just to take it and to implement it.
There's a question from Laura Maistome. Have you assessed the catchment under the global key biodiversity criteria?
This is a question that I don't have the information. I'm sorry. Maybe my colleague Olsi would have the answer for that.
Okay,
I'm not sure, so yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe you can reply to Laura after the webinar.
Yeah.
And then another one from Thomas Erde, and this is going to be the last question. Are there alternative projects that could be pushed to the front instead of hydroelectric projects to help governments' CO2 targets?
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned, Albania has a lot of potential in the solar energy, and we are also trying to promote this. We have also launched a campaign and a pilot project in one of the villages that would be affected from the Pochem hydropower. We are now starting to implement solar panels in the public buildings of the village in order to give the message that this community doesn't really need the hydropower to have energy. So you don't have to sacrifice the Vjosa in order to have few more megawatts. But at the same time, it's a message that we want to give to the Albanian government to use other alternatives. So to also, because there are options, and Albania has more than 300 days of sun. So,
oh wow, did not know that. Well, Besiana, thank you so much, and please thank Olsi in our name. This was it was fantastic to hear about your work and to learn about the story and everything that took to make it a success and to stop the damming of the Vjosa. Email me and let me know how we can help. This webinar is going to be available on our YouTube channel, and we will put the contact of the EcoAlbania if anybody is interested to contact you directly. I would also like to thank all our participants today and wish you a nice rest of the day.
thank you. Thank you for inviting, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. Bye.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Thank you.